Hi, Sealclops from Sealclops Book Reviews. I am going to be reviewing Green Mars, written by Kim Stanley Robinson today. This is the second in the Red Mars Trilogy, and I read both the paperback, the ebook, and the audiobook for this to get through it because it's quite a large book. Enjoy. Green Mars, written by Kim Stanley Robinson, the second in the Red Mars Trilogy. So, the genre and the trope, or trope, never know how to say that, is science fiction, space travel, fantasy, future, and speculative fiction. A bit about the book. So, we return to Mars and the ever-increasing list of characters who work to make the great planet livable. As the second in the Mars trilogy, we are once again engrossed in a large and complex science fiction book about what it takes to aeroform a planet, and the oh my goodness, I can't say the word. Looking at the word and my brain's just gone blank.
Consciences.
That come from it. That's just my brain's just not working. Yeah. How does it match up to my expectations of that genre? Once again, Robinson creates a highly detailed world that bursts from the pages. Picking up 20 years after the events of Red Mars, the world has changed along with its inhabitants. I found this story to be a lot more political than the first in the series. However, the level of detail and storytelling kept me invested until the end. The summary. Mars, the green planet. Man's dream of a new world is underway, but corrupted. Red Mars is gone, ripped apart by the violent and failed revolution of 2062. The first 100 have scattered or died, and for the moment their dreams with them. The rebels are underground, dreaming of their utopia. The transnational corporations have a dream too. Mars can be plundered for the benefit of a ravaged Earth. It can be terraformed to suit man's need. Frozen lakes form, lichen grows, the atmosphere slowly becomes breathable. But most importantly, Mars can be owned. On Earth, countries are bought and sold by the transnationals. Why not Mars too? Man's dream is underway, but so is his greatest test. The survivors of the first 100, Hiroko, Nadia, Maya, and Simon among them, know that technology alone is not enough. Trust and cooperation are needed to create a new world. But these qualities are as thin on the ground as the air they breathe. The analysis, plot and theme. Mars is becoming greener. With rising temperatures and the thickening atmosphere, algae, lichen, and primitive plants begin to grow on the planet's surface. With a few generations now born and raised on the desert planet, native Martians are demanding a fully Martian government. However, the last attempt to separate Mars from the transnational megacorps of Earth ended in thousands of lives being lost and the collapse of the space elevator. Determined not to repeat the errors of 62, also known as 61, 62, it sort of expanded across the 2 years, the newly developed factions must work together to take control of their beloved planet, whilst also taking back control of the aeroforming operations set to flood the atmosphere in highly toxic CO2. Pacing, emotion, ending, and plot holes. Once again, Robinson's world-building skills were off the charts. He has a knack for creating visuals out of the written word that just draws you in. Sitting at just under 800 pages, this book is significantly larger than the first in the trilogy, by about 150 pages or so. It is also more politically based rather than the adventure the first book was. Although it is not an action-packed novel, it does still have many action scenes throughout. One of the first 100 is imprisoned and tortured, resulting in a daring rescue mission during a major storm, for instance. Where the first book ended with the collapse of the space elevator, this book ends with the launch of a second revolution. What came next was an amazing scene where 200,000 people had to brave the freezing temperatures with nothing but altered thin face masks to protect them from the deadly atmosphere for over 70 kilometers as the city of Burroughs disappeared underwater. Overall, the second installment is another fantastic science fiction story. It does have some negative aspects, the major one being the length. The other aspect that had my mind wandering was the seemingly lack of progression, even as years passed. Although sometimes hard to get through, I believe that the foundation will enhance the final book. So it's laying the groundwork, I guess. Just going back to lack of progression, even though many years have passed, I think something, going from memory, I think something like 60 years pass in the events, like throughout this book, but it doesn't feel like it. And it's not always addressed. It's like dropped into casual conversation every now and then. So it really feels like things are moving slowly, but it's not. The recommendation. So, another fantastic and gripping novel about the mysterious planet Mars. Although the world building is one of the highlights for this book, I found that it could be a bit hard to get through as I gave in and put the audiobook on my phone. Apart from not seeing the illustrations when they appeared in the books, I really enjoyed listening to the story. And I'd like to mention the illustrations are just sort of maps of Mars, so you can look at them before or after reading the book or whenever you'd like, really. So you didn't really miss anything from not seeing them when they were in the book. A bonus fact. You may have also noticed that I refer to the colonization efforts as aeroforming rather than terraforming. This is something that is actually addressed in the book. As the primary focus is to change the atmosphere to support life, the term terraforming is argued to be incorrect, as terra generally means land, so changing the land to make it livable, well, they're focusing specifically on the atmosphere at this time. So I thought I would follow along with the book and use aeroforming in my review as well. And my review. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Not quite as good as the first, but generally that's the case with these sorts of books. And it is laying the paving or the foundation, I guess, for the last book in the trilogy and the culmination, I guess. Mars is changing the atmosphere, the environment, and the people. But who controls the planet? And who decides what Mars will become? And there we have it. That is my short and sweet, lot shorter than the first review of the second book in the Red Mars Trilogy called Green Mars. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have different thoughts or opinions, let me know. I'll be happy to discuss them. It'll be interesting to have someone to talk to about this book, as I don't know. Well, I know one person that's read it, and it was about 10 years ago. So, yeah, it'll be good to talk about. Thank you for watching. Bye.